think one thing that I would add, man, also is I am a firm advocate for short
Facts.
engagements
Facts.
uh, for a lot of different reasons,
Yeah.
but short dating periods and short engagements. I'm a firm advocate. I think that would save a lot of people a lot of trouble.
So as a young Christian man, how do you know when it's time to ask your girl to marry you? When is it time to pop the question? When is it time to put a ring on it? When is it time to do that? And then after you ask her to marry you, how long should the engagement period be? Well, we're going to discuss all of that in this episode of the Men to Men podcast. So let's get it. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is James Howard Jr., and you're tuned in to another episode of the Men to Men podcast. This podcast is all about helping men honor God in every single part of their lives. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, I want you to consider subscribing. So how do you know if it's time to pop the question or not? Is it a magic formula or a certain amount of years or a certain amount of months or a certain amount of connection that you need to have in order to ask your young lady to marry you? Well, in this episode of the Men to Men podcast, me and my friends, Raph and Micah, are going to discuss just that. Hopefully, prayerfully, we can say something that can help you make a wise decision as you move forward in your dating relationship, in your engagement, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so let's jump into this episode of the Men to Men podcast. Let's get it.
I think one thing that I would add, man, also is I am a firm advocate for short engagements. For a lot of different reasons,
Yeah.
but short dating periods and short engagements. I'm a firm advocate. I think that would save a lot of people a lot of trouble. I think people think too much of what hurdles may lie ahead in terms of like, oh, this is like so soon, or we don't got a lot of money, that type of thing. Like, man, God ain't worried about that, bro. All God care about is a covenant being made, you know what I'm saying, between the two people and him. Clearly people want it, like the practical thing is like you want to set yourself up for success in this world that we living in. I think people need to think about that thing more too.
And I mean,
for sure.
my engagement was 6 months, and that was pretty short for a lot of people, and that was rough. It was rough. We were ready, and so I agree with that. I also think too, you know, people think that before you prepare or when you're preparing to get married, like during the engagement phase, like you gotta find out every single thing, and it's like marriage is work. And you want to do the work on the front end, yes. So do the work on the front end, but just know that it's not a solve all, and you won't have all the answers, and that person will change, and you will need to change, and that will be work, and just know what you're getting into. So like, yeah, like get married, but just know like this ain't some easy task. I mean, it's a covenant for a reason, and it's a covenant between not just you and the spouse, but you and God, because you need God in order to keep that covenant. Without him, it's not going to work. And so if he ain't the basis of the foundation, just go ahead and say, nah, it's not time.
Yo, this conversation is pretty good to me so far, but listen, I want to hear from you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there some other advice that you may want to give? I want you to go ahead and leave a comment down below. Leave one right now for maybe somebody who's scrolling through, sees this video, and just really needs an answer that maybe we didn't answer so far, that you may have some advice on. So go ahead and leave that comment, and then we're going to jump right back into the video. All right. Now, I don't know, one thing, like, for us, premarital counseling help. Like, we didn't get to know each other like everything about each other, but my wife was very intentional about asking specific questions. Like, we straight up had like a list of questions from like some magazine or something that we did, and we went through that helped us out. That was cool. Our engagement wasn't just too long. I'm not good with like remember how long stuff lasted. It would take her, but I just remember engagement being so difficult, so hard as far as temptation, because it's just like we were told, like, hey, it's gonna change when you ask her to marry you. It's gonna be harder for you to not do it, to not have sex. It's gonna be harder for you to keep those boundaries. And I was just like, psh, psh, whatever. And bruh, like, it was just like the devil was like, all right, I can show you better. I can tell you. And it was tough. And thanks, right,
That's hilarious.
And then thank God through His grace, man, that we waited until marriage. Thank God for that. But it wasn't easy. wasn't easy, man. So, like I said, man, if you know that's the one, if you know that's the one God called you to, you know, marriage is something that He's gonna honor, He's gonna bless, and the money and all that kind of stuff will take care of itself. But you know, just yeah, gotta
Man,
work. So
that's good.
again, I'd like to thank my friends Raph and Micah for hanging out with us in this episode of the Man to Man podcast. If you would like to hear more episodes of us discussing other things related to dating, I want you to go ahead and check out this video right here. And don't forget, if this video was helpful for you and you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to go ahead and smash the subscribe button. And if you're listening to this on iTunes or on Spotify or anything like that, I want you to go ahead and give us a follow, leave a review, so that we can help spread the word and help men honor God in every single part of their lives. Again, we'd like to thank you for checking out this episode of the Men to Men podcast. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.